It's hard to pour from an empty cup. I mean, I know lots of us have heard that before, but how am I supposed to give you two something if I have nothing to give? So now we're putting in debt, which then with our ADHD makes us super anxious. And then how am I supposed to give to Rick and to Davina and to my family and to my clients?
And
And
then I'm
it's
just not
like,
going to do any of it.
no, 100%, because at that point, I am so far underneath the cup that I don't know how to get out, and then I'm overstimulated, and then I just panic and just I just freeze, and
You're telling me that the people that you're sitting there in this reflection and you're questioning yourself of being too much and all these other things and you're putting them before you, like, can you really sit with yourself and say, if I passed out because I put theirs on first, are they going to get mine on me? Or are they going to keep sitting there panicking in their own selfish ego bullshit?
Now I'm an adult with free will and adult money, and I go do silly little things because I fucking want to. And it makes me happy. A lot of people have, again, I've talked about this, a lot of people have statements or thoughts about that. Some of them are respectful and supportive, and others are like, why are you being so weird? Why are you obsessing? Why are you like, what is that? And I was like, well, this is who I am. I'm sorry that you haven't met her. And I am sorry that this has been dormant for so long, but this is who the fuck that I am and who I have wanted to be. And now I have free will and now I can do it. And I can lean into those parts because it is safe.
3 women, 3 paths, 1 mission. To prove that your story is not your limitation, to guide you towards your muchness, to explore the unfiltered truths, and to challenge every bit of belief that built your mask. This is Go Be Too Much, the unapologetic space for the bold, the healing, and the unfinished, where we decide what's too much was always meant for more. So let's chat. Maybe we'll fuck around and find out just how unmissable we all are.
Welcome to Go Be Too Much. I'm MJ. I'm the host. This is Cassie and Mandy.
Hi.
And we are going to talk today and focus primarily on one of our forms that we got had. Geez, that's going to be today, that we have filled out by one of our listeners. But before we dive into that, Mandy was just talking about her social media for her job. And I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge these two because man, oh man, since the last time we recorded, which has been a minute for us, actually, they have had leaps and bounds of positive, wonderful growth and change in their careers. And I want to say that I'm just so excited for both of you. I am so proud of both of you. And no, neither of you knew that I was going to say this today, but I wanted to
Like,
acknowledge that
you want to
because,
vomit, Cassie?
absolutely
yeah,
every time.
I was like, because it is a milestone. Somebody filled out our form. This is like the first real big one we've had somebody fill out. That's exciting for this project for me. And so by us doing this podcast today, it's acknowledging that. And I want to then also acknowledge your guys' growth in your own personal work endeavors. So congratulations to both of you. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but if you want to, go for it. And if not, then I'm going to hand it over to Mandy, who is reading the form we have filled out.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Yeah. Cassie, yeah, that's like I said, you want to vomit yet? Like how that feels starting right out of the gate with nice things being said about you,
Well,
compliments.
and not only that, but I heard somebody say it the other day. I really like your hair. Well, thanks. It's day old hair. I had to do this. Why do we always
Yes.
have to explain ourselves? Can we just be like, thank you?
I think that was
Qualifier.
our podcast.
What
It was.
was it wasn't? And I'm just like, why can't I do that? Like, why can't I just be like, Mary, that was the sweetest thing ever? Which it was. But at the same time, I'm just like, please don't. And then I have my dog, the Christmas tree. Squirrel. I am thankful that you said that. Thank you very much. It is definitely a growth process and disgusting in a sense of I hate putting myself out there, but like even on this podcast, that's what we're doing. And I know that I need to remain consistent. So I told myself that I'm going to be posting on my personal page every single day. Like, and so I've batch created just because I have a squirrel brain and I can't always do it. And honestly, there's some days I don't want to record like most people. It's like, it's there, it's done. I am doing what I said I was going to do. And that is what I'm proud of, is that I did what I said I was going to do.
I'm proud of you. I I'm also like Cassie. I hate posting. I mean, I know we're on here. I know we've got our face out here. We're yapping on, on Spotify, YouTube, and all the above every week. But I had this idea. I am in a position at a school now where I am not just in survival mode. I actually get to thrive and be creative and do things in different capacities that I haven't got to do before because of the situation. And so I had this idea and, ran with it. I remember I messaged my principal. I was like, here's my idea. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to record all the videos. I will put a script. I will show you how to schedule on Instagram. Thank you, Cassie, because that's the only reason I know how to do any of that. I was like, at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, am I doing too much? Is this okay? I literally said to my principal, am I doing too much? Is this okay? Or do you want me to change it? And he was like, you're absolutely not doing too much. You fit in perfectly with this. And I was like, okay. It's like the biggest sigh of relief because people at my new job look at me funny when I ask qualifying question or I'm like, is this allowed or do I need permission? Like, what is the process? And they're like, we don't have to do any of that here. Like, what do you mean ask permission to send an all staff email? What do you mean ask permission to reach out to students or what have you. And I'm like, well, this trauma exists for a reason. These things happen at one point. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing too much. Oh my God, they think I'm crazy. And he was just like, no, this is perfect. Thank you. I was like, huh, well, okay.
We love that real time validation and look at it, fixing those beliefs that have been concreted forever ago. Love
Literally,
it.
literally. They think I'm nuts every day. And then every day they're like, no, you fit right in. Like, we love you. And it's wild. It's wild, but I'm with Cassie. I'm like, "Ugh, okay.
We're going to
Uh,
get better. Like it is a
yes.
process, right? Like we are one step in front of the other. And that's what we should tell our listeners is that we are not perfect, but we are making steps in a direction to be more comfortable with it.
And that always means letting good things happen to you. That doesn't always mean processing the bad things and just, learning to walk with that. It means allowing the good things in your life too, and allowing yourself that ability to recognize that I did do a good job. I did kick ass at that. And then sitting with it and being like, yeah, I did. I did do that. I am
I
kind of
did do
great.
the damn thing.
I
I
did
love that
do
you
the damn
pointed
thing.
that out too, because it's so true. We get caught up, and I think even in here, because we're trying to provide like education, and we're trying to provide relatable things, and so we talk about the things that have happened. But it's so important to look at the good things that are happening, and that if all you do is focus on that negativity and focus on the things that you've had happen to you, like you are going to stay stuck in it. You are going to keep seeing more of that. It's a balance to be able to identify when you have to sit with and reflect and work on and release the things that come up from the past. But at the same time, know that you could take a break from that, take a break
Hmm.
from the healing and just live, just enjoy, just be. And sometimes I think that's more important because by doing that and allowing yourself to just be present and identify those good things and sit with those good things, that's actually what's like calibrating your nervous system. That's what's
Yes.
actually letting you be okay. And it's hard to do that because sometimes we are like, that feels uncomfortable. Let's hurry up past this part. But it's like, no, enjoy this part. You deserve it.
The episode that just aired this past week was us talking about feelings and not being on one end of the spectrum of just completely numbing out and feeling nothing, or I can't live over here either where I feel everything, because then we're dysregulated. Both of them are dysregulated in different ways. And there was the clip or whatever, and Cassie and I schedule at random. We put them on social media at random, and when they pop up, they pop up, and I'm like, oh cool, we did say that thing. And the day that specifically my clip had popped up about me struggling, feeling the feelings and not getting stuck to like disassociation, numbing out versus feeling absolutely everything. I had a student come in and that day they were like, I struggle with trusting my feelings. I struggle with knowing, is this okay? Is this how I'm supposed to feel? And I don't know how to feel my feelings. And I was like, yeah, nothing's a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. There's absolutely no coincidence that student popped up in my office on that day when it was me talking about that. It's just like those little reminders of like, hey, check in with yourself. Like you said, Mary, be present in the moment. Allow yourself the full range. That's the part. That's the part we forget. Allowing yourself the full range. On that big happy note, I am going to pull up our listener form here, and I am going to do my absolute best because they did a phenomenal job processing and putting all their feelings out there.
And just for everybody watching or listening, Cassie and Mandy both have read this and had time to process. And I have not. Of course, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I go to do it. And then, things, mom, life, whatever,
Life.
all the things, forget ADHD. So I am going to be processing in real time, just like all of our viewers.
And I want you to know that in the show notes, you are more than welcome to share your stories with us. We do read them anonymously. We do read them word for word, but we want to hear from you guys and what you are also processing, because maybe you have something on the inside that you're like, I don't want to share with my closest friends, but you could put out into the universe anonymously and maybe that might help you. I'm not sure, but just know the form is in the show notes.
All right. So every day I tell myself I'm going to fill this form out and tell my story. And every day I talk myself out of it because I think, who wants to hear my story? Why would anybody care? How is this going to help? And then I realized that's exactly part of what all this podcast has been about. It is crazy how every episode I'm like, holy crap, that's me. I have a huge people pleaser part, and I know this. And recently it has caused a lot of struggles. I have a great life. I know that I do. I have accomplished a lot and I find myself exhausted. And then I'm like, what's going on? Why am I having the wonderful life that I have set out for myself? And then I realize it's because I spend so much time trying to make everybody else happy that I am not making myself happy. So my husband and I have been together for 19 years and I love him. He is my best friend and there has been so much distance created between us recently. It has been growing and growing and it has been a real struggle. Our intimacy is basically non-existent and I feel like I've lost my best friend. He has been talking to me in ways he has never talked to me before. And I keep questioning, am I crazy? Has it always been like this or did it change? So I have had to do a lot of soul searching lately. It's difficult because I'm a therapist and I'm supposed to have all the answers, right? Well, I don't. And so when I must admit, hey, I'm failing here, it is so hard. My marriage is failing and we need to figure out how to fix it. That's hard. It's hard to look at myself. It's hard to realize that some of these things that he said are true. And so I have been making all of these changes and I read books and I've done all of the things and I'm listening to the podcast and it has been amazing. I recently read a novel called When Women Were Dragons and it has been so empowering. It's all about this whole idea of being too much and hiding ourselves and just being good wives and good women. And you're just quiet and you do what you're told, all the crap that we've been told forever. But then it goes into how we need to be ourselves and we need to be authentic and fuck what other people say, fuck what other people think. I tell myself that I'm like that. And as I've been reading this stuff and making these changes, I realize I'm not. I still try to fit into this little box that I do not fit in. Some of the self-reflection I had to do is I really have let myself go. And it's because I spend so much time focusing on everybody else instead of myself. So I've started to focus on myself. And it has felt amazing. I have so much more time when I just do the things for me. My husband and I have had some conversations and we'd actually started going to couples therapy and things are starting to look hopeful, which is amazing. I know it might not work. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. I will be okay. I realize that I am finally starting to get this idea that I am doing things for me and that's great and that's amazing. I've said, oh yeah, I'm going to lose weight for me. It's never been for me. It's been because I wanted to be seen differently. I wanted my husband to be attracted to me physically. I want this. I want that. And then I let it go. And right now it feels amazing. So I'm hoping it continues to feel amazing. I'm doing the things and I'm saying the things and I'm making the steps. And your podcast is helping tremendously. It is hard for me to be vulnerable, extremely hard for me to be vulnerable. And I am. this is vulnerable right now. I could go on and on and on. I know this is probably too much. Well, I think that you're saying too much again. There we go. And the truth is, whatever. If it's too much, it's too much. Cool. That's just me. I can be vulnerable and I can make a difference and I can focus on me. And if people don't like it, well, that's okay. I have recently also been listening to Mel Robbins' podcast, and one episode talked about 8 things to say every morning when you wake up. I have been saying these sentences. Today is going to be a great day. Something cool is going to happen for me. No matter what happens, I can handle it. An exciting new chapter in my life is starting today. I need to give myself credit for how hard I'm trying. I'm allowed to be a work in progress. If I keep showing up, life will reward me. And I have an important contribution to make to the world. I hear all of that when I listen to your podcast, and it totally reinforces it all. I want you all to know I appreciate you and what you're doing. I swear you're like in my house, in my head, saying, Name, this is how it is. And you're right. So, like the ADHD brain and all this stuff has been happening. ADHD, huh? Well, look, perimenopause, menopause. Had no idea about any of that stuff, but also it just amazes me that you seem to be on the same exact wavelength as me, which means you are probably on the same exact wavelength as so many women out there. And you're opening up is extremely helpful. So I hope that you keep going and you keep doing it, because each week I look forward to Tuesday when I can listen to each of you be in my brain and help me through this journey to be authentically myself. Even as I have been writing this, I have caught myself thinking, they do not want to hear this. This is not what they are talking about. No one will want to hear your story. You're doing it again. And now I have to think, oh, well, let them. I'm doing this for me. So to conclude, I would suggest that everyone read When Women Were Dragons as a novel, because it's amazing it's amazing and empowering and encouraging to go be too much. Be your authentic, wonderful self and fuck those who don't like it. Thank you again. Apologies to our listener for some of my slip ups, but I know there was a tone here as you were writing it, and I wanted to get that. And sometimes my ADHD took over because same. You're talking my language. But Mary, real time reactions.
Like, first, I was emotional in it for many reasons, to which we will get into. But I want to start by giving a little bit of that in the moment, reaffirming this new belief that you're creating for you. You are absolutely what we are looking for people who write on these forms. Every word, every line, every detail of what you wrote is exactly it. So thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being so much, because it is exactly what we're wanting. And I hope that when you watch this and hear that we're reading it and hear this, that it starts to give that new belief that you're not too much and that you get to be vulnerable. I love that you're listening to Mel Robbins, because we all know I am such a fan, and I think that she does some really great things. And I love the 8 things to say to yourself in the morning. One of my favorite things that I started to say to myself was, show me just how good it can get. Show me the magic, the beauty in today. And I love saying that to myself in the morning, because it opens me up, I feel like, to see those good things and not just focus on the negative.
I'm writing that one down. That was a good one. Show me how good it can get.
Show me how good it can get. I have not read the book that was suggested, so I absolutely will be getting that book and reading or listening to it, because that sounds wonderful. So thank you for also sharing that. But I want to address the part that made me emotional, which is going to make me emotional. And that is that as a therapist and going through things in life that you help other people with, absolutely creates in us this belief of, how do I not know? How do I not see these things, see these warning signs? How do I not know how to fix this, go about this? And especially when you talk about it in relationship to your marriage, because in 2023, I went through a divorce, to which most people have figured out by now or concluded, but I never publicly announced. And I didn't because of that shame. That how could I, a person who seems like she just knows and does for a lot of people not know a lot for herself, and removing that shame and recognizing that at the end of the day, I am a human, I am me, and you can know all the things and you cannot know all the things and still be a human and have a human experience to where things happen and you just don't know how you got there. And I'm so happy to hear that in this person's life that they're going to marriage counseling. And I hope that it can work out, because what a beautiful thing. But that she's absolutely right that if it doesn't, she will be okay. And I can testify to that because now we're in 2025 and I'm more okay than I've ever been. And that doesn't mean that what happened and what I went through wasn't unbelievably hard. But it means that I recognize that sometimes when you're in it, everything else goes out the window. And no matter, we've talked about the healing that we've done, there's things there that we don't know that need healed until we know. And then you have a choice. And it's okay that you're a therapist and that you don't have all the answers. And so I really appreciate that you shared that, because I see you, I feel you, I am you. And not just when it came to my marriage, but I mean, my kid, shortly after all that happened, it wasn't long that she was going through the roughest part in her life, and that was happening for many, many reasons. One of which was because her dad and I were getting divorced or divorced. And again, the shame, the thought of how did I not know? How did I miss this? How did I not see it? And the truth is, looking back at all these things in life, I knew the best and I did the best that I could in those moments with the information that I had. And that even if there was information there and I did not see it, it's because I wasn't a therapist in that moment. I was a mom, I was a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm me. And me is not perfect. And that is okay. You're not supposed to be.
No, I agree with that. I think one of the things that's helped me process through a lot of different unfortunate events in my life is that person did the best with what they had at that time. And I have learned to accept that, like, because I mean, who I am today is not who I was 6 months ago, a year ago. Like, I have learned stuff. Who I am in a relationship today is 100% not who I have been in other relationships, right? And so I think you saying that, like, you did the best with what you had at that time, and as humans we just naturally grow. And so um the things that I've tried to get over, I just went, where was I at that time? Where was that person at that time? Were there resources like there is today in 2025? Absolutely fucking not. And so I think allowing that grace and just knowing you will be fine. It's gonna suck. It's gonna fucking suck. There ain't no denying that part, right? But it does get better. And I know that when we're in the suck, we don't see that. We're just like, no, this is terrible. What do you mean it gets better? But then hindsight, I look back at things and I'm like, damn, I did get through that. Like, what else? If other things happen, I know I'll get through those, because when I thought that that was the worst thing, I remember in 2014, my parents' house had burned. I lost my cats. The guy that I was seeing was cheating on me. So then my family became homeless. I just remember waking up every day and just wanting to breathe. Like, that was my goal. Like, I went to work, I came home and I went to bed. And my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Mom, I am not suicidal." I was like, "But all I want to do is breathe." That is the thing. And so when I think of other things that I've been through, I'm like, Cassie, you've been through your my personal darkest times. Like, I can get through anything else. And even though it sucks, I just tell myself, you can do it. Just one day at a time, right? Like, one moment at a time. Because with ADHD, like, I'm sure a lot of listeners, if we do too much, in our brains, we get overwhelmed and overstimulated, and then we're like, "We can't do it, it's not gonna happen." So it's like just one moment at a time, and so thank you, Mary,
I'm
for
glad
sharing
you
your story.
shared that. One of my favorite things to say to people is, and I say it to myself now too, after kind of coming to that same conclusion, you have survived 100% of your bad days.
Mhm,
So thinking you can't survive something else, and again, bad shit can fucking happen, but you have survived 100% of your bad days.
mhm.
I think the reason I always strayed away from therapy, like being a therapist, was because I was like, I don't want to do direct client service. That's not what I want to do. I want to be on the front lines. And if I'm honest, I avoided therapy because I'm like, I'm fucking not. Nope, I'm not good enough for this. There's no way I can give people advice about their life or suggest they do anything because what the fuck am I doing over here in my own life? And what I learned through that process of, finally finishing my clinical hours and getting fully licensed is like, yeah, I do have something to offer to this conversation because I have lived that life. And I think that the nuances of being a professional, LOL, being a
Or
professional versus being authentically myself, those nuanced pieces are why I struggle with therapy and why life coaching is appealing to me because I get to be more my authentic self and I can be like, yeah, I also spiraled about that this week. Yeah. I also freaked the fuck out because I had to attend a retirement session with whatever those people are called. I also spiraled for a little bit because I didn't want to talk about it. I avoided it hardcore, but I got through it. So we're going to figure out how to get you through it. We're going to figure out what we've got to do and how you're going to survive this spiral. I say we take life one what the fuck at a moment or at a time.
I love that.
Yeah. Take life one what the fuck moment at a time. And we're going to get through it. And I think that that is why you're a good therapist. I think that's why you are a fantastic realtor. I think that's why I am a good school social worker working with high school students because none of us are sitting here trying to act like we're perfect. Like we might have done that. Our younger selves might have been trying to hold on to that mask for dear life. But I think at this stage in our life, we are all like, nah, that's like I have told children, I have looked at them, they have said all of the things. I'm like, I'm so sorry, honey. My brain left that group chat midway through. Can you please repeat that? I need you. I want to appreciate what you're saying and I want to make sure I have all of the details. My brain went on a little vacation because it does. It does. The ADHD does it, or sometimes somebody's talking about something and that brings up feelings in myself, and I have to sit with that for a moment before I can respond to you. But that's why any of us go to therapy, I think, I hope, is because you get an outsider's perspective. That outsider should be a little like they're not in it. They're not eat, sleeping, and breathing whatever you're going through. They can offer their perspective. They can show you what they're seeing, what they're observing. Whereas if I go to Mary or I go to Cassie, they know me. They know my life. They have had more details. And not that any of us wants to be biased in a conversation, but we do. We have more details. We have more insight to your life and who you are. A therapist is just going to look at the facts that you give them. They're going to
The
look at
actual
the
situation.
situation and they're like, well, have you considered this? Or why did you do this versus that? Like that is the point. That's the point. We as therapists are not supposed to be perfect. We are not supposed to fix the world. We are supposed to uplift, empower, and advocate and sit with individuals while they figure it out. Because at the end of the day, no one can figure anything out for us except for us. And I think that's the piece I always have to remember. Like I cannot fix anything, anyone. I can only show up as myself and
yeah.
hope that that's enough.
Well, and I tell people all the time when they come to therapy that I'm like, look, it really like I'm not gonna lie. Like what I do for a living is a little bit of a crack. And here's why. Because it only matters in this room 20% of
Mhm.
what we're doing, you know? Maybe sometimes a little bit more depending on the intervention that we're using, right? But like what you do with it outside of here, how you take it, how you use it, how you apply it. If you
Uh-huh.
come in here and you talk to me and we problem solve and we work through the things and we come up with new steps, new this, that, and the other, but you go
And
home
that you
and you
do
don't do
nothing.
any of it, then yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about why that is, but it isn't us who does the fixing. It isn't us who, I don't
Mhm.
have a magic wand, though I do say that EMDR is like the closest thing to that for me.
Amen.
But I can't just snap my fingers, and I can't just, despite what some people may think therapists, that we just can brainwash and
Mhm.
make them do what we want.
God, if we were that powerful, people
Wouldn't
wouldn't
we
be
be
in
doing that in
therapy.
our own
Yeah,
lives? Like,
like, right. Don't you think I would have made shit work a little easier for myself?
right. So, and
Absolutely.
I think too, the other thing is having these experiences and being a therapist, like, it's made me a better one. So I want to give that too for the encouragement is that,
Mhm.
I've said for a long time, ever since I was in college and I first went to therapy, that me checking those boxes, me checking the box about my depression and my anxiety and suicidal thoughts and things like that, like, I do get it. I've sat there, and I tell people all the time, like, I've sat on that other side and I still have, still recent years. And being able to go through things in life and share those things with people in a professional way does help, because no different than just podcast.
Yeah.
It lets people know they're not alone,
Yeah.
that there's other people who experience, who get it. And I've been told by clients, even just in the last few months, sharing and talking about stuff like, thank you. Like, thank you for doing that and making this, normalizing this.
Hmm.
And that's what's sad is us then when we're in those moments ourselves, we're not normalizing it. We're putting the pressure on, we're applying the pressure to it. And so you have to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing, not doing different, for
Yeah.
knowing and still doing maybe what you would advise somebody else not to do.
Well, and I think one thing too is the listener acknowledging it within herself that she's like, something is, she doesn't like where it's at and she wants to change it. And she took the steps to, I think one of the biggest steps that a lot of people miss is you have to sit with your ego and you have to be like, damn, like, I'm not, so this is what I say. This is not what everybody else says. So take whatever you want. When I finally had my breakthrough, I was like, I'm the fucking problem. I was like, all these things keep happening. And what's the common denominator? It's Cassie. And so that's why I chose to go to therapy every week for 6 months. And I was like, I'm the fucking problem. And I had to swallow my ego. And I will say, Cassandra before this, like, she definitely had an ego for sure. And I'm sure that I've hurt a lot of feelings along the way. And I am so sorry. I can't apologize to that many people, but I'll put it out in the universe. But like, I had to sit there and go, okay, I really want to change. Like, this is my moment. Like, and it is the hardest thing. Like, looking at yourself and going, I don't like where I'm at. And what do I got to change? Like Mary said, you could give me all the tools. You, Mandy, you could say all the right things, but until I decide to take the action to do said things, like it doesn't fucking matter because we can only control us. Like we've talked about in other episodes, the 90-10 rule. It's what is it? 10% of what happened to us and 90% of how we react. Like you have to do the work. And so I want to congratulate that listener who submitted that and you know, she was like, "Hey, I don't like where this is." She took steps to talk to her husband and be like, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling." Bless his sweetheart that he decided that he wanted to work on that together and that she recognized, she was originally losing weight so she would be more attractive, which I know we all can attest
Huh?
and feel that is a whole nother topic. But and finally she was like, "No, I want to do that for me." And like, I just want to congratulate that person on just taking that step of just like really feeling it and just moving forward. Like you are doing the right steps and you even admitting that to the world. Like I just want you to know how powerful that is. Like you have like I would be beaming with light if that was me. I'd be like, "Who?"
It's a testimony to what we keep saying, maybe not even have like directly said, about choosing us, about being our authentic self, finding out who we are, and who we are is constantly changing. And that's part of the hardship of it, right? Is because we don't just stay the same person. We do change, we do evolve, or at least you should be. So allowing yourself the space to really break down who is that? And what are the parts of me that I've lost along the way? And so it's funny you talk about calling yourself Cassandra, and it was like a light bulb in my head because I was like, you know what? It was in college and things shifting. I started to just go by Mary. And for the longest time, my entire adolescence, up until I went to college and in like my early 20s, I went by Mary Jean. And a lot of people I remember asking me like, well, why'd you drop the Jean? Why are you just going by Mary? And I think at the time it was like, it's more professional. I don't, there probably is a reason there that needs looked into. But, and then circle back to where we are now. And I'm wanting to identify, especially through this, as MJ, which was also a nickname that I had when I was younger. And so it's finding those parts of you that you lost that never should have lost and should have been quieted and dimmed, and letting those parts of you come back out, and whether they're good or whether they're not, right? Like it's figuring those things out and letting yourself figure that out, and that by doing that you actually improve your life. Does it mean that things may not change and that there may not still be hardships? Like, of course there are, but you chose you're choosing you're choosing to find what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you're wanting to settle, not settle, new interests, new hobbies, new motivators that are really authentic to you. And that's testimony to what we're talking about here and doing. And absolutely 1,000% can relate.
Yeah, Mary, listening to you talk, Barry, I'm like, there's a very obvious display back here of Mandy reconnecting with teenage Mandy. And we're at that time of year where everyone's doing the reflections, and every freaking app is giving you your like stats for the year, and your Spotify Wrapped, your YouTube, whatever have you. Spotify told me I was 21 years old based on my listening age, and I giggled because anyone who knows me in my like real life, I'm not 86. Okay. But K-pop entered the group chat mid-year, and my life has not been the same because it has brought out those teenage pieces of me. But teenage me, when I was living it, teenage me was in full survival mode, trying to be liked by everyone, trying to be the perfect daughter, trying to be the best example of an older sister, getting the straight A's, doing all of the things. And I really didn't get to just like sit in that moment of being a teenager. And now I'm an adult with free will and adult money. And I go do silly little things because I fucking want to. It makes me happy. A lot of people have, again, I've talked about this, a lot of people have statements or thoughts about that. Some of them are respectful and supportive, and others are like, why are you being so weird? Why are you obsessing? Why are you like, what is that? And I was like, well, this is who I am. I'm sorry that you haven't met her, and I am sorry that this has been dormant for so long, but this is who the fuck that I am and who I have wanted to be. And now I have free will, and now I can do it, and I can lean into those parts because it is safe. But I didn't feel safe to do that as a teenager. And now I have a group around me. I have people around me. I have created a life where it is safe to just be my weird little self. And I just really love that. I just really love that. But that doesn't happen until you allow yourself to be all things, whether it is giggly and silly, and whether it is angry and maybe a little aggressive, or sad and sappy, or all of the above. You have to allow the things to exist, all of them to exist within you.
And Cassie, something else you said, and I know we've talked about it maybe a little bit before, about being and acknowledging that you are the problem. And I want to acknowledge that, especially in regards to what this individual shared with us, because I know for me, going through my divorce, going through those things after the divorce with my kids, and looking at myself in the situation, of course, lots of people in my life at the time who knew what was going on were like, Mary, you are not the fucking problem. And to which I say, depending on what's going on and what situation you're looking at, yes, the other person may absolutely be the problem. And yes, other things, other factors may absolutely be the problem. But you are still one of those factors. And to go into a situation and not acknowledge any role in it is, again, that ego that needs checked. And I can say that for me, by being able to sit with it and not say, what's wrong with me? Why am I good enough? Why am I not worth loving and staying with? Which, granted, I did ask those things, but I started to flip this script and say, why do I keep choosing people who don't show up for me? Why do I keep choosing the person with potential? Why do I give a million chances and not just accept a person for where they're at? No right or wrong. It's just who they are.
Mhm.
And that's where the problem comes into play. And by sitting with those things, looking at those things, you get to go back. You get to find yourself where those things started to happen. You get to correct it and then live a better, healthier life for yourself. And hopefully, in this individual's case, with her husband too.
Amen.
I know something. I know we've talked about it before. Like, it's me. I'm the fucking problem. And it just keeps circling in my head of like, I'm not the problem. I am the area for improvement. My behaviors, my thought process, the way I show up, that is the area of this equation that has
Mhm.
room for change, that can change and that can improve. So outcomes are different. I am the
Which is, didn't she say that in her thing? Didn't she say I'm a work in progress, or
Mhm.
I'm something like that? Which
Mhm.
is so true. You are, like I just said, we're constantly changing, right?
Mhm.
So you are a work in progress. It means mistakes are made. Makes wrong choices happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to pour from an empty cup. I mean, I know lots of us have heard that before, but how am I supposed to give you two something if I have
Mhm.
nothing to give? So now we're putting in debt, which then with our ADHD makes us super anxious. And then how am I supposed to give to Rick and to Davina and to my family and to my clients?
And
And
then I'm
it's
just not
like,
going to do any of it.
no, 100%, because at that point, I am so far underneath the cup that I don't know how to get out, and then I'm overstimulated, and then I just panic and just I just freeze. And so I just think, try it is hard. As women, as human beings, I feel like it is hard to take care of ourselves because somewhere in the world we felt like we had to take care of everybody else. And so I think just it's a work in progress, like we just said. Try to do one thing for yourself. If that is you want to take baths, if you want to go to the K-pop pop-up events that keep coming up, if I want to rot in bed with my animals and read a book because
Girl,
that's what I want
fucking
to do.
jump out of a plane on a Monday.
It's funny you say that because
Are you jumping out of a plane tomorrow?
not
Again.
tomorrow, but it's maybe next Sunday I might.
Yes.
I haven't booked it yet, but it might happen.
Well, with that plane reference, put your own fucking oxygen mask on first. We talk about this. I use this with students all the time. If you get on an airplane and they're doing all of the safety things, they are going to tell you when that little oxygen mask drop down that you are to put it on your face first. Because if you don't put it on your fucking face first and you pass out because you don't have any oxygen, what good are you to your child, to your disabled individual, to the elder next to you, to your useless partner next to you? Like, if you don't put your oxygen mask on and you pass out on that plane, you are no good to anyone. Life is the same. If you do not fill your cup, if you do not make little deposits, little dopamine deposits that bring you joy and keep you fucking wanting to move forward in life, you are no good to anyone in any system ever because you passed out. You passed out on the plane and you have no oxygen. So
And it's not selfish.
no, you have to breathe. You have to breathe.
Who's to
It's
say
and
the
I tell
person next
people,
to you is going to do it for you?
right, you should be top 3 all the time. You may not always be number 1, but you should always be in your top 3. The other 2 things, believe it or not, kids included, are interchangeable with other priorities going on in life. But you should always be in the top 3. You are not interchangeable. You are the factor that is consistent in all of it.
You are the fucking star of this
Right.
show.
Character, right.
This play is about you.
And Cassie, I'm glad that I interrupted you but I'm glad you were saying that because I literally had this thought the other day and I shared it with a client and he was like, mind blown, but it is. So we're talking about putting the oxygen mask on us first. I don't fucking know. All right. Anyway,
You started the podcast with twisted
no,
tongue,
I
so
said it was going to be like that today. And I took my medicine. So anyways, put the oxygen mask on first, right? So that you can help other people because that's who you are and that's what you would do. And if you don't put your
Yeah.
oxygen mask on first and you start putting it on other people and then all of a sudden you pass out because now your air's run out, you're telling me that those people you put the oxygen mask on, they're going to put yours on and save your life, or are they going to leave you laying there passed
So
out?
they got to panic and
Right.
take care of themselves. Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say you don't have good people in your life and that you're like, oh yeah, Cassie, Mandy, Candace, like these people in my life, like they would put it on me, right? But you're
Mhm.
telling me that the people that you're sitting there in this reflection and you're questioning yourself of being too much and all these other things and you're putting them before you, like, can you really sit with yourself and say, if I passed out because I put theirs on first, are they going to get mine on me? Or are they going to keep sitting there panicking in their own selfish ego bullshit?
Facts.
I'm just saying.
Straight fucking facts.
Yes.
What a
yes.
way
With
to
that
end this
said-
podcast. Yeah.
I know. Like there's
So
some
with that said,
there's some
thank
reflection for
you
your ass.
to the person who wrote. Please, more people write and know that you're not too much. And anything you say, feedback and all, we're loving it. We're here for it. The comments in the comment sections, the people who talk to us individually, fill out the form. That's what this is.
We
You're
appreciate you all.
Mhm.
We're exactly enough. So go be all that you are. Go be too much. Bye.